a new earth has already begun. A new earth won't be built or continue to be built if you don't do something too. And in this video essay, I'm going to define what a new earth is, what roles are needed for the new earth, and how you can be a part of it and a part of building. We need so many roles, and no one can hold them all, and each one depends on the other, and that instead we will save one another. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about what people mean when they talk about creating a new world. I don't think that a new world suddenly appears one day. It begins in the ways that we live right now. It begins in everyday life, in how we treat each other, in the choices that we make, and how we take care of what's in front of us. And I want to, in this video essay, define what a new earth is, and also share that it doesn't mean a perfect future. A new earth has already begun. We are all shifting in how we relate and how we exist and how we improve. My name is Kate. I am a lot of things. I am an artist, a ceremonialist, a healer, a farmer, and I believe in joy as resistance. I believe that the new earth that we are all within is built by the people who know that the old one will not save us, and that instead we will save one another. I'm going to define what a new earth is, what roles are needed for the new earth, and how you can be a part of it and a part of building. We need so many roles, and no one can hold them all, and each one depends on the other. And a lot of us hold more than one, and you can also weave together a combination that fits your gifts. When I think about a new earth, or when I attempt to begin to define a new earth, I want to first share that it's already being built. It's an alternative that is being built in the cracks of collapsing systems. And a new earth is exactly how it sounds. It's something new from the earth that we currently reside on, but a newer, fresh start toward accomplishing shared goals on purpose and with intention. And so a new earth is a meaningful transformation of human life, and it does not primarily occur through distant institutional changes or future rupture, but rather through localized, relational, and repeated shifts in daily practice. And that's beginning with the personal, with the communal, and with the ecological proximity. And this transformation is not utopian. This transformation is emergent, and it is enacted through lived behavior. So what does all of that mean specifically when I start to talk about it? It's a little heady, but essentially in the new earth, we are all working together with our hands, with our words, with our everyday choices, and with our courage. And this new earth is woven from care and the work that is done when no one is watching. It is anti-fascist, anti-hate, anti-extraction, anti-capitalist. It is regenerative, reciprocal, and rooted in collective care. It does not measure value by profit. It does not measure value by productivity, but instead by the health of our relationships to ourselves, to each other, to the land, to our inner lives. It is imperfect. It is messy. And yet, it still makes room for listening and understanding. And the new earth dismantles the machinery of domination and replaces it with networks of nourishment. what it is not, it's not a perfect world. It's not a moral completion. It's not a reliance on external savior structures, whether institutional or ideological, and it is not a replacement of existing systems. Rather, it's a shift in how beings understand themselves in relation to others and to the world, and it's a reconfiguration of value away from extraction and toward reciprocity. And it's a pattern, an emergent pattern specifically, of localized ethical and material practices, a distributed cultural formation rather than a centralized system. And it dismantles just this domination and oppression and replaces it with the network of nourishment. And it refuses scarcity and the scarcity mindset. And it treats art and culture and connection as vital infrastructure. It grows through community kitchens, mutual aid, land trusts, cooperative housing, art, street art, music, rituals, ceremony in public, non-religious ceremony, and every act of truth-telling that refuses to let this other idea of oppression tell the story. And I guess, honestly, I'd like to also get into why so many people feel off in our current existence. And it's because life is fast and overwhelming, and people are tired and stretched thin. Capitalism is and has worked very hard to move us away from creating art and connecting with one another. We are so disconnected from others, and yet we are so connected to consumerism. We are so connected to transforming the inner worlds of our decor or our possessions. And a lot of life, even though we are sold this wonderful, perfect dream, a lot of life we are surviving. And the world currently, as it is, it runs on taking, or as I said, extraction and speed over slowness and consumption and convenience and people being treated as resources. The roles needed for New Earth, we need so many, and not one person can hold all of them. In fact, like I said, I have a combination of many. I'm a weaver, a healer, an architect and a builder, a farmer, a storyteller, an artist, a poet, and an innovator, and an activist. The best part is you don't have to pick one role. The best part is if your ideal role isn't listed, that doesn't mean that it's not needed or it isn't necessary, but it does mean that it's time for you to pick it and step into that. So if you see something in your life that's not listed here on this specific roles list, then I would say go for it. And comment if you feel like I'm missing something really crucial. I mean, I would love to know. So the New Earth is an ecosystem, and ecosystems thrive when every part lives into its purpose. And you can weave together a combination that fits your gifts and your resources and the needs that are around you in your direct community. So you have to really acknowledge your inner compass or your community compass. So north is to know your why, or people say your true north. Why are you bringing this practice to your community? What are the needs or need that you're responding to? What is the gift that you're offering? East represents knowing your people. Who is your community? What are their lives like? What do they carry? What do they need? What language speaks to them? And south is knowing your practice. What practices, skills, contemplative practices, offerings, resources do you know well enough to teach or give? Start there. Teach what you have lived. Give what you have. Don't be reaching or demanding, and don't just teach what you've read. Actually, teach what you've lived. That's so important. And then West represents know your limits. What are you not ready to teach? What are you not ready to share? What requires more training? When do you refer someone to a professional? Knowing your limits is a form of integrity. Farmers and gardeners, I list this first because that is very, very true to my community, my life, my world. I have been training for 16 years in herbalism, gardening, farming, and growing food and food sovereignty. And if you want to learn how to garden, or you're interested in finding resources and you live in the Southeast, I actually compiled a list which I've added to the notes of this episode. It's a living archive of tools, teachings, books, educators, gardens, seed keepers, community spaces, liberatory ideas. And I created this space for people who are trying to live more intentionally and also connect with people locally as I'm in the Southeast. Being a farmer or a gardener, your work teaches patience and reciprocity, and you return nutrients to the soil. You are ensuring that no one has to depend on corporations for their food and for their, what they offer. The farmer and gardener also gives education as well as sharing tools, resources, sharing seeds, sharing knowledge. And you put in what you take out. So you tend, even when the harvest is far away, you're planning many, many, many months in advance. You're starting plants that are going to support you later on in the season. And you also plant by the seasons. That's a whole other thing, which if you would like to have me make a whole sort of episode on farmers and gardeners, comment. So here's some practical starting points for farmer and gardener role. You can join a community garden. You can learn to save seeds. You can share extra produce with your neighbors. You can teach someone how to plant something that will feed them. There are many resources for getting free seeds, which are in my resources for New Earth. There's many resources for learning about gardening. You can learn how to forage. You can take classes, workshops. There's a lot of ways to get plugged in. Artists, poets, and storytellers. Those are so crucial for our New Earth. The keepers of imagination. You refuse to let the empire flatten your language or your dreams. You tell the truth when propaganda lies. You help us grieve and you help us celebrate. You give shape to futures that people cannot yet see. And so you help people build courage, bravery, and you also give hope. And some practical starting points for artists, poets, and storytellers. Attend community art events. Share about community art events happening near you. Research art history. Observe. Read some books. I know a lot of people who have gotten a lot out of The Artist's Way. There's many books that are like in that same wheelhouse. If you just kind of like search like starting point for new storyteller, starting point for new artists. There's also really cool podcasts and stories and books and audiobooks. Write about what is happening in your community in a way that feels human and applicable to you. Maybe that means starting a digital newsletter. Maybe that means posting on social media, but maybe that means writing something down and handing out flyers, posting flyers up, paint murals on walls, host story circles where people share in their lived experiences, and just create art that honors everyday acts of care and mutual aid. To Visionaries and Innovators, this role is for those that see where we are headed before the road appears. You imagine systems that serve life instead of just for profit. You take ideas from the edge and you make them workable. You're very willing to try and fail and sometimes fail publicly, but for the good of the collective and for your community. Practical starting points for visionaries and innovators would be to study models of cooperative economics, learn about nonviolent communication, learn about emergent strategy, experiment with renewable energy projects, organize or take part of a neighborhood tool library or resource library or free library, or start doing skill shares, prototype a small scale system that meets a real need in your community. And once again, this is when you have already done the work on finding your why and referring back to that compass that I already shared about. Weavers and networkers. So the weavers and the networkers are also kind of sometimes referred to as the bridge. You bridge people together. You really deeply observe and you listen to what people are saying, and you are deeply listened and engaged in your direct community. I'm not really speaking about politics here. I'm actually speaking about direct person-to-person connection. You know nothing grows in isolation. You bring people together across movements and across just different areas. You match needs with resources and skills with opportunities and people with one another. You hold the web that keeps the work from unraveling. And I think that this is always really great for people who are like, I don't really know where to start yet, but I do have a lot of connections. And so if you're a person that is a social butterfly, this is a wonderful place for you. A practical starting point would be map the groups that are already doing good work in your area and attend events. Help people connect from those. Start a shared community calendar of community events. Host a potluck that brings people together in different activism groups. Get together with artists. Get together with elders. Really understand that the world is shaped by this weaving, this networking. Healers and ceremonialists. The tenders of mind, body, and spirit. You help people process the trauma of living under systems designed to create harm. You guide communities through grief, through celebration, joy, transformation. You preserve rituals that ground us. You create something larger than ourselves. Maybe you even tend magic. Maybe you have something that is a way to transform someone's health. I'm talking herbalist, body worker of any kind, really. But also therapists. Therapists are also in this category in a big way. It doesn't always have to be that woo energy that I think people affiliate with building this network. Practical starting points offer sliding scale healing sessions for what you are trained in. Hold community grief rituals. Teach breath work. Teach movement. Teach plant medicine skills in accessible spaces. Make videos like I'm doing now and share about resources. Help also to normalize rest and joy as part of the work. Architects and builders, the ones who give vision a physical form. You design and create structures, systems, actual buildings, tools that hold community. Your work lasts. Water systems that stay clean, meeting spaces that invite and welcome everyone in. The practical starting points, of course, learn carpentry or basic construction, help retrofit homes for energy efficiency, start attending events that are based in this area, design spaces for accessibility, build physical infrastructure for mutual aid projects, grassroots leadership and activists. The protectors and the organizers. You know where the harm is originating and how to stand up and in its way. You rally people not just to resist, but to imagine and demand something better. You act at the neighborhood level where change occurs most quickly and most profoundly, and maybe you organize bigger than that after you get a really good network going. Practical starting points: join a local tenants union, throw a rent party, organize to stop harmful development, protect community land, resources from privatization, help neighbors understand their rights and how to defend them. Whew, educators. We don't give educators enough credit in our world. They are the ones who keep the knowledge alive. You teach critical thinking, empathy, shared responsibility. You pass on histories that systems are trying to erase. You teach skills that make us more autonomous and interdependent at the same time. You facilitate and help people think for themselves and grow. Practical starting point: mentor a young person, host free skill shares, create open access resources online, teach literacy, media literacy, archiving, local history, outside of institutional walls. The new earth will not come with a single leader or a step-by-step plan. Instead, it will grow because of enough of us choosing to play our part and our roles in the ones that we feel most called to step into and to fill. And when you decide to start, you are creating a beautiful world. You are creating moments to celebrate. Every small step becomes something that we can honor as a collective, because it's proof that we're alive. And why do small things actually matter? These small steps actually matter because big change is made of ordinary moments repeated over and over and over time. A more connected way of living is basically culture built by repetition. The world is shaped by our habits, how we spend our attention and our money, how we care for our land, objects, each other, how we create and share art, and gather and share time, spend more time with the land. In seasons, you're creating a new earth. You're creating a better world. And it's not something that is a destination. I don't want you to leave this video thinking like, well, a new earth is literally going to happen whether I take part or not. No, a new earth won't be built or continue to be built if you don't do something too. We don't wait for the perfect condition to begin. A year from now, you would have wished that you started today. And this is an everyday practice. This is a discipline. And honestly, it's going to be imperfect, as I said, but the everyday unremarkable actions are the thread that is weaving together this new earth. And I write about this on my Substack. If you enjoyed this piece, this essay, please share it, like it, subscribe. Again, my name is Kate, and celebrate everything is my ethos. Essentially, celebrate everything means that we treat the act of showing up, especially when it's uncertain and unglamorous, as something worth celebrating, as something sacred. And this is something that I am incredibly passionate about, incredibly driven to get this information across. And if it touched you in any way, you can get started now. So many blessings to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you, whatever your goal is, you accomplish it in the way that you need to make our world better. Because we need you. Literally, we need you. We can't do this without you. Please take a small step now.